So I already put back some parts of the flash sync, namely the ones necessary for the M sync, because it has the retard mechanism and it can already be cocked. Like that, and then released, and that works perfect. Next comes this piece. Of course I cleaned them all before. And this is easier when the M sync is cocked. There it is. And the contact. And then this arm. Something's in the way. There. And you can see that the contact is made in the open position, because this piece contacts that contact, and as soon as it closes, that contact is lost. So once again, open, it closes, and it opens again. So that should work. Okay, now it's correct. The spring, the arm of the spring needs to push back this arm once the M shutter is cocked, like this. And when it fires, it releases, and then the shutter can run down, closes the contact, and when it closes again, it opens the contact. Alright, now I will check the contact with a multimeter just to make sure, because I didn't find the reason for it not working yet. This contact should be connected to this. Yeah, it works. There's no shortcut because when I test it against the shutter body, there's no contact. Now when I fire the shutter, there should be contact between the body and the flash sink. That works, okay. I'm confident that the problem is solved, although I don't know what the problem was before. So next comes the main drive. This is the main drive cam, and the spring and the shaft with the gear. And they have a lot of graphite grease on them, which was necessary as a lubrication, but it's not as good anymore. It's a bit sticky. So I will remove that and lubricate it again with molybdenum. That should be enough. There's only one way to push it back down into position, and then I usually turn it until this arm leans against this guide. Now I take the spring. You can see that it's already old because the position of the two pinions are further away than usual. But that's not really a problem. Then there's a hole in the cam, and the spring goes directly in that hole, and then I tension it like that. And now it should be in position. Yeah, very good. And lastly, this with that thing goes in between, like that. And that's all about the main drive. Next come the self-timer mechanism, as well as the escapement mechanism. To clean them I use a little of naphtha and let it soak in the cotton bud, then rinse it over. Let me remove the screw. And now tension it and let it run down, and while it runs down I blow the naphtha out with the rocket blower so all the dirt comes out as well. Yeah, it already runs down very smoothly. I will repeat that 3 times at least, but before that I wash my fingers because they are very greasy. I cleaned the 2 mechanisms as good as possible, so they run down very clean now. First goes back the self-timer. And the pin of the self-timer setting ring goes, of course, into this slot. Then the screw. And then check that when you pull out this lever, that it runs down. And when it almost runs down, it pulls back this thing here, and that releases the shutter. Of course it didn't fire now because it's not cocked. Okay, now the escapement mechanism. To put it into the shell, you need to pull back those 2 levers, so it's really flush on the ground. And then there's 2 screws. And it doesn't move freely yet, so it's not in the correct position. Now. Yeah, it's good. I check that I can cock it, and then it fires. And it doesn't close yet because we don't have the cocking ring installed yet, but that would pull back this, and then it would close. And it doesn't close completely because we have not yet installed the pull down spring here, and that will close it completely. There's a little bit of freedom here, so we can adjust the timing by loosening those 2 screws and moving it a little to the periphery or the tubular mount of the lens. I will do that later because it's much easier to cock the shutter when it is installed on the body. Next I will install the 2 springs. For that I also make sure that they are clean. This closes down the aperture. And this closes down the shutter leaves. Next, the cocking ring. This is the, well, I don't know how to call it, maybe the programming ring, because it sets all the levers and the timings. And then finally the clamp. I also clean them completely. Oh, this looks very badly bent here. I hope I can restore it. Okay. Once they are clean, I can use a little bit of molybdenum. Just on the surfaces that will slide against each other. Now first goes the cocking ring. Okay. Okay, there's a problem. The contact of the flash sink is broken. Maybe I bent this a little bit. So this red cable really needs to contact the plug. That already looks okay. So when I cock it, it opens completely, and then I release it. That looks good. This would be... No. For some reason it does not move further. There. Test the B setting. In 1 second. Okay, that was shorter, but it is not adjusted yet, so that will be adjusted later. Let's try the self-timer. I need to push in this button and then I can cock the self-timer. But it would release right away, so I need to also to cock the shutter. And then very good. Okay, now I check the flash sync. I have an external flash here. Turn it on. Yeah, that worked.